And Ashley. Okay, so for me,
I'm sorry.
Instead of action.
Yeah. I think I want to leave that one in there.
Okay. Hi, welcome. It's Ash.
And Jack.
And welcome to Coffee Time, Best Friend Time.
The best time. Cheers.
Bam.
All right. Well, today on our episode, we're going to be doing actually a relationship series. Today, we will be talking about best friend relationships because obviously we are best friends of 23 years.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's a long
Triple
relationship.
certified.
So first we'll recap a little bit about our consistency and fitness from the week since that was last week's episode. And then today we're going to touch on a couple of different topics. Types of best friends.
Bestie Piggy Bank.
How to keep relationship going. Basically relationship friendship.
Yeah, giving your bestie the freedom to make mistakes.
And being understanding of changes in the relationship. So, without further ado, let's start the recap. So, Ash, how was you were doing the hard 75.
Yes, and it's hard.
Wow, I would have never guessed that from the name. Oh my gosh.
My biggest thing, I think, which I did not say last time, the diet part, that is definitely key to it as well. It's very loose, like you can pick whatever kind of diet you want to, but you just don't have cheat days. Like you can't have fried food, like fast food, like French fries and stuff like that. Yeah, no cheat days. So on that part, I think I've done pretty good. I've been mostly eating like rice, beans, protein, and veggies. So that's like my mostly main meal. And then I've gotten some protein shakes in. So the diet part, even though I didn't mention it, has been good. I do have a sweet tooth, but I'm watching my calories. So I'll allow for having like a sweet, like today I had a cookie and that was like my only sweet. Well, I guess the coffee now, but overall, I haven't been going over my diet, but I did miss a day. I did mess up, and it was because of the water, and the water has been the biggest thing for me. Honestly, you're not supposed to drink a gallon of water a day. I used to work with nephrologists, and I would tell them, like, hey, this diet is saying blah, 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 or this exercise is saying, a gallon of water, and they'd be like, you're actually supposed to listen to your nephrons, like the parts of your kidneys that are like alert you. Basically, they're the filtrating system, but your kidney will actually alert you when you're actually thirsty. So drinking a gallon of water each day, you have to be really careful with because you can flush out all your electrolytes, or not all, but most of them. And your electrolytes are important for like all the functions in your body, like your heart function. You can have heart palpitations or PVCs, which are pre-ventricular contractions. Like all kinds of things can go crazy if your electrolytes are off. So for me, even though I am drinking that gallon of water each day, which messed me up on one day because it was hard to get that gallon of water in, I'm also just trying to make sure that I'm getting in electrolytes by having, a little bit of salt here, or even drinking like a little bit of Gatorade. But that was my biggest thing with this, was just getting in that water, because that's hard. I do like, even though I kind of don't like, I do like working out or going for my walk in the morning. I feel like I wouldn't do that once the challenge is over, because it does definitely take a lot to get out and do it. I go like 5 in the morning. Or a little bit later depending on which job I'm coming from. It's become my routine. Like, there's no leeway with it. I have to do that then because it's too hot. There ain't no way I'm going outside with it being 100 degrees outside. I'm going outside when it's like no sun outside and or barely little sun, and it's like 80 degrees outside or
Even
less.
Still with the sun.
Yeah, with no sun, it's still like 80 degrees. So there ain't no way I'm going outside when it's like this right now. We're blazing. Like, it just hurts to step outside. So
it does.
But all is well. I messed up one day, so I think I just completed day 4 as of today. This is starting day 5. So good. Definitely, you can follow me on TikTok. It's Grow and Fruitfulness is my handle. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah,
That's
I did
it. So you can definitely follow me on there to keep with my journey, because it is definitely going to be a journey. So that's me.
Okay. So me, I was already kind of trying to stay healthy and everything. I did go to a party yesterday and I did eat a lot. I came home with a stomach ache. 2 cheeseburgers, a hot dog, some shrimp ceviche, a piece of tres leche cake, and I feel like there was more. I had chips.
What is the shrimp stuff?
So it's like it was kind of spicy. It was yummy. It had shrimp, it had tilapia, and it had like cilantro and diced up stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good.
Good.
It was good. And some sauce. Yeah. And you might notice also today we are wearing green again, but it was on accident. But they are different greens.
Yes. So we're not the same shade again.
No. And then also, this is another super special together episode. Who knows? That might be the thing now. I don't know.
Yeah, if we have
We'll
time.
see. Yeah, we'll see. It's not something that we can do every week, but we'll try to have super special episodes. And also, let's see, last week I was also supposed to be focusing on me, and I think I did during the week. I was doing the editing for last week's episode, but I was also letting myself play some video games and letting myself listen to this audio book that I've been listening to, and yeah, so doing some self-care stuff, At least that's my version of self-care. Video games and audiobooks and books.
Nice. Love it. Sounds like we're both doing our best to improve and keep with our plans of what we're trying to do. So moving forward, let's go to our first topic, which is types of best friends. I've always kind of known that there were different types of best friends, but there was a creator on TikTok, I think her name is Alexandra Hayes Robinson. Yeah, I got it right.
Go.
And she kind of put it into like words, like very, I guess, kind of articulately.
Yeah, articulately. Yeah, you got it.
But she named different types of best friends. Like I would say ours falls under the North Star best friend, which is kind of like what I said about you during your wedding. I said that Jackie and my best maid of honor speech. I said that she was like the sun in my life, even though she wasn't always in the same place for me. She was always someone I could look up to, even though she's not just because she's taller than me. And but that she was a constant in my life. Even though she would, go away for some time, she would always be back. So I think that hits with the North Star. Even though it's not quite as close as the sun, it's definitely a constant in Bestie's lives. Another of the ones that she listed was OG best friend, and I think we also fall into that one. The difference with the OG best friend is just the OG is someone that you've known since for a long time. With both of them, you don't have to speak to each other every day to maintain that closeness. But the difference, I guess, would just be that the North Star one is more, maybe you're with them more or you reach out to them more frequently.
Okay.
And it could be a newer relationship. The OG is the history, basically, is the difference. The other one was like a fun time bestie. And that's the one that you would go out to the clubs with, you know, have a good time with, or it's like very activity centered. I think a good thing is that for us is another thing that's already encompassed in our, you know, North Star relationship.
Yeah.
I think we've all had relationships with people where it was like solely on one type of thing. Like maybe a work bestie could be a fun time bestie, and the fun time would be at work. I've had some really good friends from work that I wouldn't even say my bestie at work, but once you're not at work with each other anymore, like someone leaves, it's kind of based off of proximity, the relationship.
Yeah.
Or the activity, and once the activity isn't as frequented, the relationship can wane. Not to say that you wouldn't still have a connection there, it's just maybe harder to pick up where you left off. Okay, and the other one, I forget what the name of it was, but basically this is one that you could be kind of like your full authentic self with, that it's okay to have quiet moments with, versus the other one with activity, it's like all based off of the things that you're doing together. And I think we also share this as well, where I could just be at her house playing my Nintendo Switch and she's watching something else or reading or working. And
yes,
we're fine with that. We're fine with just being in each other's presence. Like we're I always say that you pour into me. Even it doesn't matter, like even if you are venting to me, that I do feel just energized from being around you. And I think that's what that, whatever the title of that one is that you just get energized from being around the person. So definitely the North Star one is kind of encompassing of all those things. That's what makes our relationship really great, and I'm happier in my life.
Yeah, and I think from an earlier age, like, because I remember being in, like, you know, high school, and you would come over to my house, and like you would be playing like a video game or something.
A Game Boy?
Yeah, and I would be like on something else and just chilling, vibing, not really needing to like make sure we were talking or, you know, being like on each other all the time about like, you know, having fun or whatever. It was just, we could just chill and be.
Yeah. Just be. All right, so the next one, that point that we wanted to make was best friend, bestie, piggy bank. So for me, that's kind of, I mean, all relationships, there's kind of a relationship bank where you're putting in but then you're also making withdrawals. And I guess, again, that goes into how I feel very poured into in our relationship, very energized whenever I'm around you. But I think that's because we have a good balance of having the good times, which you're adding into the piggy bank, but then also being able to withdraw from each other. I know I try to make a good point of saying asking if I can vent to Jack. Sometimes it's just straight in the moment and I just have to be on the phone. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. This is crazy. But I think for the heavier things, like the more trauma related things, I definitely ask if she's in that place at the moment to be able to really hear me and to take that on. Because I never want to take so much from her, or for her not to be able to really hear me out and not to be able to, I guess, really just be able to listen or really get that feeling that I'm really heard.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. And yeah, like she was saying, it's not all like venting. I know some people can have that one friend that they just vent to all the time. And you should probably be mindful of that, just because if you are venting to someone, I feel like sometimes they can take on that negative, kind of energy, or you're always coming to vent, and so it's always something kind of a negative way, as opposed to being like when obviously we have a whole history of relationship to fall back on, and it's more of like we do need someone to vent to, but obviously we're also going to hang out and be goofy together and all of that other stuff. So yeah. So I would say that you should just be mindful of how much venting you're doing to someone without really either having them reciprocate or doing other things, so it doesn't feel like a negative relationship.
Yeah. And it's okay to talk to a psychiatrist or any mental health professional. Your friends are definitely there to listen to you, to, an extent. A lot of friends are there, and especially your besties are there to listen to you and help you through things. But if you're ever feeling like it's a little bit too much sometimes, it's definitely good to reach out to healthcare providers that can help you through that, because sometimes it's not just the talking that you need to work through. Sometimes it's a chemical thing, and it's okay for you to get help.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So how to keep a relationship going. So some tips and tricks that we have was, I guess we always do fall back on our common interests. And which isn't a bad thing. They're just common interests that we've had since growing up, and we still have them to this day, or as kids, and we've had them to this day, like video games, anime, and some outdoor activities, some more physical activities. We were gym buddies for a time, and
miss those days.
Yeah, when you were doing the easy 2-a-days.
Yes.
But so there, when I moved away, I remember Skyrim came out, which was definitely one of our games. And even though we lived far apart, we would call each other, talk about what we were doing in that game, and we even did some of the same missions at the same time while we were talking to each other on the phone. So even though it wasn't an online game, we were doing the same quests and talking to each other while we were doing them. Coffee time, best friend time came from me being moved away. I moved away, and I did read something about keeping in touch with friends long distance, and I was like, oh, one of the things said, hey, send them, some money, some cash, and be like, for coffee, because you guys usually would go out and have coffee, right? At least we do. And so that way they can go buy a coffee, think of you, just something nice like that. And then Ashley was like, you know what? We're going to do something even better. We're going to have coffee time. Well, I call it coffee time, best friend time. But we're going to FaceTime each other and drink coffee every morning and just talk. And so that's how this came to be. And now that we are living in the same area again and can do this. But yes, that is how coffee time, best friend time came to be. And also just, we can talk about anime, and, it's not that we have all of the same interests.
You like Marvel movies, and I have a
like
short
Marvel
attention
movies.
span. I have a hard time of watching movies, but the Spider-Man movie was really good. Is that Marvel or is that DC?
That's Marvel. But
okay.
So yes, the Sony animated, the Spider-Verse movie. We took her to go see, and she did like it. It was very cool. But yes,
It was long though.
Yes.
It was 2.5 hours.
I know. Oh, it was so funny because like her and Des were like, they're like, oh yeah, this is like about to end. Me, I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait, there's got to be more though. This isn't where it ends. And I also did do a lot of reading as a child. Ashley is less into books, so like I read Harry Potter and all of
fiction.
those.
Yeah,
yes,
you're definitely
I'm
more
more
into
fiction. Yes, Ashley is more into nonfiction books,
history and self-help and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I am less into those. That would be boring for me, but no. But fantasy, sci-fi, it's all my jam. So yeah, so we don't have we're obviously not the same person, so we do have different interests.
Even though our moms thought we were at one time.
Which is how we started to become friends, was because our parents thought we were each other.
Yep. Oops, sorry.
It's
sister.
But yeah, so I would say is easier nowadays to keep up with friends. You do have social media. Just about everyone has a cell phone now, so definitely very easy. Even if you don't call someone, you can definitely text them.
Or send them TikToks.
Which has now become another hobby for us. To send each other TikToks. Your TikTok sending friend. That TikTok is your love language. So there are definitely a lot of things that you can do now to keep your friendship going. And obviously, also I'd like to mention kind of having someone in your life that does understand how important your friend is. Because, Des definitely did a lot to make sure Ashley was included in not only the proposal, but the bridal shower, the wedding and everything. So he was, keeping her up to date and all of that. So that definitely helps. And and I love that they are also friends.
Yeah, I love Des for you. I'm so happy you found him, and he's a really cool guy. So, my friend too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the next one is a little heavy. Giving your bestie the freedom to make mistakes, because we are all not perfect and mistakes will be made. Oh, so many.
Yes. I think I could start with this one. I think the biggest thing I think that this kind of holds true for us is relationships, like partner relationships. We've never had the same interest in the same type of guys, which has definitely been a thing that's like kept us from having conflict of like liking the same person or whatever.
Except in
so
Skyrim.
many. Yeah.
The same guy in Skyrim. Only fictional men. We have the same taste in fictional men. Real life men, completely different.
Very true. But so yes, definitely a way that we kept away from conflict. But I would say many of times we didn't like the other person's partner. But as you get older, you realize that it's better to just let people do them versus try to nitpick or try to guide them to a decision when it comes to relationships. I think we do good when it comes to like maybe work or something, if it comes to guidance as far as like resumes and stuff like that. But relationships, your intimate partner is such a delicate situation. Anytime you're dealing with an extra person in the relationship, it you have to take care not to offend the other person. And the best way to do that really is just to sit back and let them be them and make the mistakes that they make or do the good that they make, you know. That was, you know, kind of hard at times for both of us. I had a relationship where Jackie reminds me every now and then, like, what did you even see in them? And I'm like, girl, like, there are good times and there are bad times. Like, no one, or at least me, I ain't supposed to stay around with nobody that ain't doing nothing for me, not serving me in some kind of way. But now I'd say my standards are much higher when it comes to relationships, and that comes with age, going through things. So I would think that there would be less of that, especially if Jackie's married now, so I don't have to worry about, you know, worried about her relationships now. I would guess it's just me since I'm single, but I think with the choices I've made recently, whenever I see something isn't serving me, it may take me a minute to get over it, but I think Jack kind of understands where I'm coming from and just supports me. And I think that's the best thing that you can do, is just kind of sit back, let them do them, and hold your judgments. I know we're all thinking things when they're going through a relationship with someone, and we're seeing things because we're not in the thralls, in the encased in the love that they're making and enjoying with each other. So when you're able
bit further away from the situation, to see
the
the bigger
haze
picture
of the love, you're not stuck in it, and you see things that the other person doesn't see. But to say like, oh, well, I think they're cheating on you, or to say, you know what, they just don't treat you right to me, or they're isolating you, like you have to let the person see those things themselves versus trying to, because that's the basically what all that's saying is, you want to bring the most positivity to the relationship, you and your friend, and whenever you're bringing up those negative points, that gives them more of a reason to have resentment towards you than it does the other person, as in, well, you never agreed with this relationship. So that can be bringing, or seen as bringing, negativity into the relationship, bringing bad juju, all those things. So the other person, even though in their mind they probably would really know that the relationship wasn't good, if they see you as putting that bad energy into the air about their relationship, they can have resentment towards you. And even if you give good advice, it could be, you know, even in a positive way, sometimes it could be, well, I listened to you, and then this and that happened. So a lot of times when it comes to relationships, your bestie being in a relationship with someone else, it's best just to be the ear they can listen to, because sometimes you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't, and they don't mean any, you know, harm by it. It's just relationships
are complicated.
Yeah. Because we put so much of our heart into our relationships with the partner, and it can wear you down, make you a little cray. I mean, we both had our times where we were a little bit crazy in love. Yeah. So I'm glad you have a stable, nice, healthy relationship now.
Yes. I do. But yeah, so just to recap, sometimes your bestie needs to make their own mistakes, and sometimes the only thing you can do is to just be there after the fallout, if it happens, and just listen to what they're going through. So Next up is being understanding of changes in the relationship, because nothing really stays the same and things are constantly changing. I guess one of the first big changes in our relationship was actually me moving. Remember that? We lived in the same area.
The same street. We lived on the same street for I don't know, 6 years or something like that. Because I think it was senior year.
Fifth grade. Yeah.
When we met in fifth. Yeah.
And then I had to move. And I remember not wanting to pack, so I didn't pack. So, because, if I didn't pack, we couldn't move. But, obviously my parents packed everything. And we moved anyway. So that was the biggest thing. Even though we were still going to the same school, we never had any classes together. Ever. So
to this day.
to this day. But yeah, so it was, obviously it was a little harder, but we were more grown, able to drive. Yeah. So that was, while sad, still did not keep us apart. And yeah, so, but then, life changes happen. We moved apart, physically, mostly me. I would move away. But we kept in touch, and like I said, the video games, things like that. And we stayed connected.
Less frequent, but still connected.
Yeah, so we did call each other, but it wasn't every day or anything like that. We kept in touch with each other, and obviously, I would move back, and we would pick up like nothing ever happened, because we did keep in touch. And I think that can happen just in general, and not just if someone moves away, but you can grow apart, right? Like life changes, having children, growing up, and having different relationships that you obviously want to focus on, or work, things like that. Obviously it is important, one, even in like romantic relationships, don't lose your friends, because obviously that would not be good to just get all obsessed with a romantic relationship and leave your friends behind.
I've done that once. Not with Jack, but yeah, that was a big, big mistake.
And, definitely it's important to have your career goals, but also important to take some time for yourself, hang out with friends, because you can't be grinding all the time, you gotta have some fun, remember people that, and interact with people that aren't just people from work, of course, work friends, you guys are in the trenches, you understand each other, but it is important to, talk to people outside of work too. And then also just, if you're having kids, you need time for yourself. You do. I do not have children, but, obviously I have friends with children, and, I don't want to hang out with your kids 24/7. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to hang out with your kids 24/7. So you need time for yourself. So while obviously changes are going to happen, it's important to just, be understanding of those changes and still be there for your friend. And obviously, them getting into relationship and having kids can be really fun for you too, because I'm basically still a child, so I really have fun with my friends' kids and take them out. Des is the same way. And him also just being so welcoming of my friends. And that might be because we met through friends, so we do have a lot of the same friend energy, I guess, you know? So that is a lot of fun. I do enjoy that he's not so like, you know, I'm like, oh, Ashley, you know, is gonna come over. And it's not like something where he's like, oh my God, your friend's coming over. Like, no, he's like, he's very excited and happy to have Ashley over and, you know, understands that we are best friends and need to hang out together too.
Mm-hmm.
But what about
he even
you?
lets me sleep over sometimes.
That
like,
is
we
true.
have a guest room. You just want to stay over? Yes. I don't want to drive.
I know. Wasn't it like really foggy or rainy or something was going on one night? And we were like, because she was about to leave.
And then just...
Yeah, so we were like, you just want to stay? And she was like, yes, I will stay.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't too long ago.
No, that was pretty recent, but I can't remember what the weather actually was.
I think it was like thundering. I
Maybe
think
that
that's
was
what
it.
like because it had been raining.
Oh,
and
it was
then
when you were the anomaly, I think.
Is that right?
Did you spend?
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, how did you feel? You know, me moving away. That was mostly what happened. The changes, I guess, and the relationship, and obviously, you know, I had Des, and all of that, or I have Des.
Yeah. So as far as like being understanding and changes in our relationship, for me, I had to be understanding that there would be times when we would definitely talk a lot, and then times when we would, you know, not talk as much, and it was okay. Like when we live close together, it's like we talk so much. But I guess it's because our lives are more entwined when we live closer together. I like know more of what's going on with her versus when she doesn't live so close. It's like, well, you know, she's probably busy right now, so I just don't bother her. But now I'm not a big texter. I like to call people up. So like, I think I called her recently just to tell her like, oh yeah, you know what? I just saw such and such and such. And it's like, oh really? Yeah, that's all I want to tell you. Versus I could have definitely texted that, but it's like, no, I want the response now. I want to know how you feel about this now. So
Yeah, you literally said that too. I don't. What was it? Something happened.
I don't remember. I think I was getting coffee, so I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember. Coffee.
Always coffee.
Yeah, so being able to, what is it? Your expectations. What would regulate your expectations? Adjust maybe your expectations? What is the verbiage that we say about expectations?
Yeah, I think adjust your expectations. I feel like that's not what they usually say, but I can't think of a better word. So just, yeah, adjust your expectations. Know that life will change, even though we don't want it to. And I mean, even though we're still, you know, best friends now, it's not like we haven't changed since the day we met. So, I mean, we're wholly, completely different people. We've been through completely like different things and some of the same things, and it's just to, you know, life's gonna change, things are gonna change, and
I think I remember. There was a time when I was vegetarian, and we were living together, and we got donuts, and accidentally ate the pig in the blanket. So, and we were like, what did I just do? Like, it was such a routine to eat the pig in the blanket with the little donut holes or whatever. But I guess that why I wanted to bring that up is just that the changes. Like, that was a period in my life when I was going through that.
And obviously I was trying to support her, but
we both
forgot.
I forgot meat was in picnic blanket.
It was just something to have, you know. But yeah, no, we did really try, you know. Obviously it wasn't something that I did all the time. Obviously it wasn't like if we went out, yes, I was eating some meat, but yes, at the house, if there was something that we were making together, just so happened to, then yes, we would have like what is it, the Greek yogurt instead of, or some, no, not Greek yogurt, what, some vegan sour cream or vegan
Veganhood only lasts like a month and a half because that is hard. But vegetarian was like lasts for like 2 years, and we had like bean empanadas and stuff that were so good. Had the house smelling like onions though.
Yes, so it was definitely, you know, and like she said, we were living together, so obviously, you know, just supporting your friend. She wanted to be, you know, that's the life she wanted to live. We still had meat in the house though. I mean, I was still, we had some different, you know, schedules, so obviously it wasn't like we were going to eat all the time together. So obviously, you know, there was going to be some sausage or bacon for me for breakfast, and, you know, whatever she was going to make that day, depending. But yeah, when we would come together to have any meals, it would, you know, we would try to make them as dietarily friendly to each other, or to her diet, as we could. And I mean, obviously if I made something else extra to have on the side, that was just, you know, on me, like.
And that's really big, because onto the like making adjustments, understanding that people change. Because that was a big time in my life where I was really adamant on that was what I wanted to do. But the fact that she supported me so much with it, when other people at the time would like laugh or poke jokes like, hey, well, what are you going to eat when we're at this restaurant? And it's like, dang, you know, like, why does it have to be such a big deal? It wasn't a big deal with Jack. Like, it would just be, you know, hey, well, did you decide on something? You know, just as regular conversation on like what you're gonna eat, not like emphasis on like you can't have that and you can't have that, you know? So Jackie's always been super supportive of me, no matter what changes in my life, and that's why she's my bestie. But again, to recap everything that we were talking about, so you can, you know, keep in mind when you're dealing with your new friends, your besties, or whoever you want to have a very strong relationship with. I would say types of best friends is definitely key to keep in mind, because not everyone's going to meet your needs at the same level. So understanding where they fit into your life is a way to set your expectations with them. The best bestie piggy bank, just remembering that relationships, besties or not, are all about deposits and withdrawals, emotionally, physically, all of the things. And you never want to make your bestie or friend feel like you're always withdrawing from them and using them, because that's the quickest way to end a relationship, is using people up. Keeping the relationship going, just again, all of the things that we mentioned about staying close, whether it's having the same interests and keep on playing the video games with each other, you know, coffee time, whatever it is that you're really interested in, making a point to make that happen at least once a month. So, or however you're able when your schedules meet up, but just that you do have that intentional time with them. Giving your bestie the freedom to make mistakes. That was a big one.
Because everybody makes mistakes.
Nobody's perfect.
No, and we have all made some big mistakes.
Yep. And being understanding of changes in the relationship. That's a big one too. Just don't hold judgments on people. Put your best foot forward. Always thinking, hey, what would make this person feel good? What makes them want to be around me? Think of those things. And if you can't really think of like, why would they want to be around you? Then think maybe you should make some adjustments. Maybe you should be more giving. Maybe you should be more considerate. maybe you can, lend your ear to the person more.
Yeah, because everyone needs someone to talk to. And if 2020 taught us anything, it's that we actually do need human interaction, even though we'd like to think we don't. And sometimes we don't like people very much, but there are some people that do make it all worth it, right? So having them in your life just adds so much more.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it for this episode. Yay! We'll definitely keep you guys updated with our journeys of self-care, fitness, and everything. And we will be back the next week to talk even more about other types of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it for best time. Best blah, 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 blah. Coffee time, best friend time.